Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Death Stranding. Today, I have no idea what we're going to do. Some things I know that we're going to do is probably go back to the first area, and we're definitely going to read up on our mail. So, let's get started on mail time. 13 messages. Oh, we got a lot to go through. Charles Kahn, No Way Station's an island. To the Super Honorable Mr. Sam Bridges, it gives me great pleasure to report that the Waystation patched up job went off without a hitch. The stuff he brought us was just what we needed, man, and now we're a part of the network too. No Waystation is an island, not anymore. We can talk to HQ over the East Coast just like if they were here in the room. Which is that's how we had heard those rumors about the Central were true. Totally wiped out, huh? Damn. If you hadn't been there, the UCA's plants would have gone down the tubes. Glad that didn't happen. Keep on keeping on and don't stop till you hit the ocean. First message. People think bridges are terrorists. Hope you're kicking ass and taking names, Sam. We heard HQ suspects the whole Central Knot whiteout thing might have been terrorism. Kind of blew my mind to think they're hitting the East Coast already. Things have been getting worse out here too. It was very quieter in this neck of the woods when we first showed up. That's for sure. Back then, it didn't matter what breed of crazy they were. Separatists, isolationists, leave me alone. Leave me alone, Atrians. Leave me alone, Atrians. Sure, whatever. You could at least get him to sit down and talk. Now it's blow it all up first. Ask questions later. All because some folks got it to their heads that Bridges and the UCA are the real baddies. Now I'm saying we shouldn't keep on trying to speak sense to these guys. If we don't, we'll be stuck beating each other over the head with bigger and bigger sticks till the world's covered in craters. But on top of everything, we've got these demons, wackos, and their wacko and cheap pigs to deal with. Not that he has always total fruit loop. What? Not that he was always a total fruit loop. He used to be a porter. You read his stories. Ran his own outfit hereabouts, and then the postmaster went postal. Don't ask me how or why. I don't think he could tell you. End of the day, only the way forward is with each other, hand in hand with our fellow man. That's what the UCA is all about, am I right? All right, Owen Southwick. Materials are back in one piece. You're amazing, Sam. I don't know what we've done without those materials. And that goes for everyone in the city, not just us staff. The Chiral Network's miraculous, obviously, but there's still a lot of material goods we can't live without. Folks like you are indispensable to our continued survival, and that's a fact. So don't ever think that what you're doing isn't appreciated. We're grateful for everything, Sam, and you can be sure that we'll make a good use of all that you brought to build all kinds of new facilities and equipment. Thank you. Recovery request resources scattered by the supercell. Huh. Are we destroying ourselves? Before we came through, we were people blaming. There were people blaming Bridges for our troubles left and right, saying it was their fault. Terrorists are targeting us more and more. There's no denying that they were not after we lost Middle Knot City and half of South. Not to mention the other smaller incidents all over. Hell, even our old friend Mama got mixed up in one too. What we've got isn't new, though. Well, before the stranding, folks all over had a hard on for stockpiling nukes and other WMDs. Frankly, if their world hadn't gone to crap, we probably have blown it up by now. I tell you, there's nothing more dangerous and destructive than human beings. Call it morbid, but a part of me wants us to get it over with already if we're gonna. It's what humanity deserves, isn't it? If the stupidity we've shown in the wake of the stranding is any indication. What happened won't go for humanity. Recovery requests resources scattered by the supercell. Sam, I heard you were at Mom's place. Well, I've got a request for you. Direct from Bridges. There's some cargo, rare materials that got swept up in the supercell and ended up at the bottom of a waterfall. northwest of South Knot. We need you to track it down and get it to the city. Check Mama's terminal for the official order. By the way, received eyewitness reports of a small glowing object somewhere in the vicinity. Retrieving it is not part of the order, but I thought you might be interested regardless. Hate to hit you up direct, but we can't leave that cargo spitting there forever, and you're the best and only man for the job. People are counting on you. This is a second request, or not second request, second time we mentioned some shiny object in some destination. So we'll be going to do that just to get the shiny object and do the request. So, Fragile's name isn't Mud anymore. Hey Sam, South Knot City lives to see another day, eh? I remember the bomb those bastards set off before. People said Fragile was working with them, but they had it backwards. She was trying to save us, just like you did. Fortunately, this time everybody knows her part in it. Fragile's name won't be Mud around anymore, around here much longer. I'll wager it's all too easy to forget we're still alive because of people outside our little enclave. But you've helped remind us we're not alone. We're part of the UCA, which means we can't just look to others for assistance. We've got to give back to them in return too, and we will. Kyle Artist, married life, not what I expected. Okay. Dear Sam, did you meet up with Amelie yet? I hope she lives up to your memory of her when you finally do. I didn't get so lucky in that respect. I'm sorry, I just couldn't live with him anymore. I went back to my mom's. It was terrifying making the trip on my own, but I watched the weather patterns for days and made it, just barely. Wow. Maybe I should have asked for help, but I couldn't bear to wait any longer. For your so for your sake, I hope yours and Amelie's story has a happier ending. All right. Suspicion Center avoiding azotoxemia. How's it going, Sam? You still taking care of your BBs? I'm sure you are. Not some porters. Not like some porters I can mention. Some guys practically shake their pods till their babies start crying. Some of them even ditch them when the crying becomes too much. Of course, a quiet BB isn't necessarily a good thing. Could mean the kid suffering from autotoxemia. Man, the thought of alone stresses me out. It happened to me once. You see, I was in BT territory, couldn't make it back to the private room in time, couldn't tell my BB needed time in an incubator, but I was too late. Autotoxemia is a terrible thing, Sam. He was just floating there in his pod, wouldn't react to no matter what I did. BBs can't detect BTs in the state either. Obviously, so even the most stone cold porter would be sweating bullets. Truth be told, though, I was more worried about my BB than I was about myself. Screw the PR bullshit. They're not just equipment. I don't go saying that to just anyone, but I know you feel the same. If you ask me, the BB's no different from any other baby. Treat them with love and affection, and they'll react to you. Same way you'd react to a parent, or the same way they'd react to a parent. Sorry, I know I'm getting emotional, but I can you do that? Do me a favor. Try to make sure your BB never suffers from autotoxemia. Okay? And if they do, take care of them and do whatever you can to make them feel better. Sure thing, Benjamin. Peter Ingert, yet another earnest entreaty for pizza. Dearest Mr. Sam, my dear Mr. Sam Bridges, 'tis I, your most devoured admirer and obedient servant, Peter Inglert. You are doubtless aware of the momentous occasion which demands celebrating this very day. Surely not, of course, for I would be shocked if you knew that it marks another year since joining myself and my beloved wife in the bonds of holy matrimony. I should suspect there's only one way in which we could commemorate the birth of our union. Pizza, of course. You will not begrudge me continual impudence, I hope, but how could you? It is only natural that for your sacred anniversary, or for that our sacred anniversary, I would seek to procure one of the incomparable pies that only you can provide. I say one, but we are so bold as to impose upon you for two. If they could be topped with Gouda cheese, that would be magical. They should be waiting for you at the Timefall Farmers Shelter. They provided the wheat for the dough, and I do believe they've taken the liberty of tossing in a bottle of the magnificent beer to boot. Thanks as ever. You are really a saint. Okay. Toast to a porter good and true. My dear Mr. Bridges, please accept my humblest apologies and my most heartfelt thanks. Once again, your incomparable pizza delivery skills have been put to the proof and found unimpeachable. That's a word in every regard. Do forgive us if we seem ungrateful, the visiting couple, the twin souls of decorum, as they are. We were desperate to present themselves to you in holographic form, that they might express their heartfelt appreciation. Regretfully, they are hopeless novices in matters technological, and as I myself was away procuring vital supplies, I was unable to rectify the situation on their behalf. These circumstances conspired to produce the most unfortunate of outcomes yet again. A thankless end to an onerous, sure, entirely bothersome task. If it is any consolation, the pizza was divine. Sure. Built north. Thanks for saving our buddy. Sam, you showed up in the nick of time. I'd just about given up on our guy via Langdon, but he's the one that on the mend now, thanks to you. Should be back to work before long, but in the meantime, I have to cover for him. Don't worry, he knows that he owes you his life. He'll probably be sending you a message to thank you himself soon enough. If I'm being honest, though, it was his own darn fault, and I am an old pro like him shouldn't be letting explosives slip by right under his nose. He should know how clever these darn terrorists are getting. Oh, and thanks for connecting us to the Chiral network. We're getting a lot more data from the outside world now, and that alone has given morale a pretty big boost. And the printer, it's the icing on the cake. Can't print everything now, of course. We'll be relying on your porters for a good while yet. Keep up the good work. A junk dealer. Marriage sucks. Alright, guy, what's your issue? You still breaking your back, holing shit through the wilderness, Sam? Ever long for a little company? I know I used to, not anymore, but between you and me, I can't help thinking life was easier back when I was on my own. The freedom to do whatever the hell I wanted. No one pissing and moaning over every tiny thing. Oh gosh. Where does the girl get off by being so fucking fussy? I swear I can't do anything right. Should have seen the fight we had the other night. I tell you, it's true what they say. Familiarity breeds contempt. Don't ever get married, Sam. Oh, those two. Those two. I feel so bad. I wanted so much for them. Oh well. Carl Artist's mother. What do you think of Carl Boots? Thank you again for everything you've done for us. I've been wondering, how are those Carl Boots of yours holding up? My daughter's the one who made them, in case you didn't know. I'm not too sure how they work myself. Something about chiralium coating making them extra durable. I've been worried about chiral contamination myself, to tell the truth, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't wear them. Just held onto them as keepsake. Having said that, if I understand that if I know anything about you, Sam, you're going to want to try them out at least once. You strike me as something who values the practical over the ornamental. My daughter made several pairs like that. You know, she's really quite something, isn't she? Anyway, if you decide to take them for a spin, let me know how they treat you. Collector. We used to have these things called letters. Oh, jeez. Newspapers and magazines used to be published on a regular basis, once a month, perhaps, or in the case of newspapers, every morning or evening. They were part of the life's rhythm in my father's time. Some people's routines practically revolved around them, but no matter how much you yearned for the next issue, you had no choice but to wait patiently until it was published. It was the same with letters. Once there was a time you couldn't just compose and send a message and have it delivered to the recipient almost instantaneously. No, you had to take up pen and paper, carefully write out your thought, which you then sealed in the envelope and stuck it in the post box. After which you had to wait for the postman to come collect, process, and eventually deliver it. It might take days for some letters to reach their destination, longer even if they had to travel through the sky or across the sea. And after all that waiting, you had no choice but to wait even longer for a reply. I can't help thinking that might have been a good thing. Imagine spending your days waiting with bated breath, wondering what the postman might bring. What a beautiful exercise for the imagination. All right, anything else? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Still good. Still good. All right. Data. Tips. Okay. I'm guessing something about the zip line because that's what we learned about last time. Snow. Ah, yes, snow. Walking over snowy terrain is extremely hard work. It makes for very slow going indeed. Simply walking through the snow is enough to gradually deplete Sam's stamina. Be sure not to fall asleep while resting at high altitudes in snowy terrain. You may not wake up. Ooh, rough. Armor plates. Attach armor plates that will protect you from gunfire. Terrorist weapons, the shotgun. Try to avoid close quarter combat if the enemy is using a shotgun. Yeah, that's something. Terrorist steals your cargo. Stolen cargo will be stored in a post box somewhere in the hostile territory. Other items, including your personal effects, will be dumped elsewhere. Sure. Cutting a BT's umbilical cord. When near BT, press square to cut its umbilical cord. BTs with umbilical cords can be sent to the land of the dead by sneaking up on them and using the cord cutters, which is something we should try to do because there's a trophy behind it. Entrusting and retrieving standard orders. Standard orders can be entrusted to other players to entrust cargo option. Entrusted cargo will be delivered to the share locker near its destination, from which it can be then retrieved. Cargo marked avoid impact. Cargo marked avoid impact will be damaged by bumpy travel when transporting a vehicle. You need to avoid uneven terrain when transporting cargo of this kind. Sure. Zipline creates an anchor, two of which can be connected in order to create a zip line, enabling rapid travel from one end to the other. Level 1 zip line anchors can be placed up to 300 meters apart. Zip lines can be very useful for quickly traveling over steep slopes or rocky terrain. Vehicles and floating carriers cannot travel via zip line. I wonder how long level 2 lasts. Well, something to note later on. Blood draining anti BT ammunition. Special ammunition is available for the battle against BTs. However, this ammunition will drain Sam's blood, so be careful. Note this ammunition cannot be used if blood levels are low. Blood coated or hematic ammunition is just as lethal when used against humans using the right on the D pad to open the equipment HUD. Use R's control to select, and then triangle to change the ammunition type, which I saw earlier. Stabilizers. When attached to your backpack, this unit will provide an ability to keep your balance and reduce damage taken when you fall over, but will require battery power in order to function. Oh, that's for the backpack. That's right. We got some new backpack stuff that we should look at. That's it. Interviews. Long time. Terrace view of bridges. The first expedition set off without any problems. Both the advance party and the rear guard are en route to the west coast as we speak. We haven't reported any trouble with terrorists and the like yet. But the further out they get, the greater the danger. There's a hell of a lot of separatists out there who want nothing to do with the UCA. Some more extreme than others, perhaps, but there's no denying where they stand. Seems like just yesterday it was only ideological difference. Strongly held opinions at worst, but then Carillion started messing with people's heads, turning extremists into daemons, mules to gasalts, and debate into violence. And now we're heading west into their territory, invaders coming for their freedom. They've waited for us, minds made up and guns in hand. Amelie and the others don't aren't looking for a fight. She's going to try to talk to sense to people, convince them to join us. If all the cities sign on, our nation could rise again. No one wants to take anything from these people, only give them back to what was lost. If only they could understand them. So the Kyrillians messing with them. History of the Otterdeck. Oh, Hartman. Does the name Sigmund Freud mean anything to you? He was a famous psychologist, one of the most famous of them all, perhaps. But I digress. Freud formulated one of his most famous theories after observing his grandson playing with a spool of thread. The boy would throw the spool under the bed, and thus ensuring that he could not see it anymore. He would then wind the thread in his hand, gradually drawing the spoil back towards him, until it became visible again. He repeated this process several times. It was apparently a game he played whenever his mother was elsewhere. Freud proposed that the process of concealing and rediscovering the spool was a coping mechanism, a way in which the boy could put his mind at ease. You see, the boy was in control of the spool. He could make it disappear and reappear at will. This this helped. This helped him to comprehend his mother's absence not as something sudden or irrational, but as something controlled, and therefore not a cause of concern. A novelist named Franz Kafka later coined a term for this spool of thread, Otterdeck. However, we conceived it as an object capable of speech and autonomous movement, a mysterious being neither dead nor alive. The Oterdecks we use are perhaps not so different. These interfaces, though which we experience our BB's perception of the surroundings, are not unlike spools of thread, a connection between our world and the other side, the living and the dead, humans and BB. Near death experience. Until relatively recently, death could only be studied from the perspective of an external observer. The experience of one's own death could not be communicated to another. A collaborative investigation of the phenomenon was fundamentally impossible, for through the examination of subjects in near death states and the cataloging of their experience, we have at least been able to bring the scientific method to bear on this most final of frontiers. Even those in a state so called brain dead exhibit signs of consciousness. What could this possibility mean? What could this possibly mean? Moreover, why do some on the brink of death report out of body experience? Furthermore, why do so many of those who have such experiences describe the same sensations of being beckoned towards a distant light? Many had argued that these communalities were evidence of an objective reality, of a place beyond life. If nothing else, they are at least suggesting that death was not an instantaneous change of states, but a process. The beach has since proven much of this beyond a doubt, and the dead rising against the BTs through necrosis demonstrates this process in action. The place beyond life is no longer a theoretical possibility. Its existence must be taken uh, as incontrovertible facts. No, incontrovertible facts. Sure. BTs and void outs. The following conclusions are allegedly derived from a handful of eyewitness accounts. While I would advise anyone to take them with a grain of salt, I still believe they are worth sharing. BTs pursuing the prey through a multiple step process. In the first, they begin searching for a target. The handprints left behind is the evidence of this behavior. Upon detection, one or more BTs will attempt to seize the target and drag it towards a much larger entity. To clarify, however, a void out does not occur at the point of contact between the giant and the human, but only once the human has been subsumed to the giant's body. We think that this may be because this is the only place where antimatter is present within the entity. It goes without saying that BTs are entirely different from any creature that is of this world. We have much to learn from them still. One thing is for certain, however, we must continue to understand them, else we may never overcome the existential threats they may pose. Oh, Hartman. Lockney, and Maylene. You know that what we used to dream about, seeing what's beyond those clouds up there. We spent our whole lives beneath Carillium sky. It's all we've ever known, but we also know that the world used to be so much bigger. Our parents told us they were researchers who worked for NASA, though these days most people wouldn't know what that was. It went up in smoke around the same time America did, and all our parents' work went with it. But we still have our dream. The one thing our parents gave us that can never be taken away. Maylene and I were named after a pair of craters left by the meteors which struck the Earth 450 million years ago. These craters were proof that this planet is part of something bigger, that we exist within a vast, interconnected universe. Our names serve as a reminder of this fundamental truth, symbols of our parents' hope that our isolation is only temporary. That's why we joined Bridges too, to bring the people of this country together again, and to one day reunite this planet, the greater universe that surrounds it. That's sweet. Alright, anything else? No. Oh, goodness. Alright, the member chip is Frame Arms, Mingwu. Mingwu is a variation of heavily armored frame arms mechanoid, is known as the Genbu. Project Resphere was originally conceived as a means of creating a bright new future for mankind, but was sadly never able to achieve its noble goal. The AI of a lunar planet went haywire and launched an all-out assault against humanity. Those who hoped was to adapt the frame architecture robot skeleton for combat. Thus, it was technological design to bring peace and prosperity, tragically repurposed as a weapon for war. I believe that's it. Nope, there's one down there. It's locked. What? Do we have a key? Data file. Weird. Maybe we have the key. New songs that we got from last time. Breathe in from Roar because we have to roar once in a long while. Long while. And the machine. The machine. Alright.